She too is a critical thinker, researcher that communicates her findings in scientific journal articles. Week after week, Mike Rowe showed us America at work, doing jobs we don't think about much, but jobs that make civilization work. To make civilization work, it takes people like Senior Vanessa Brown, who took for granted the impact of stuffed animals have on the life of a child until she saw firsthand the impact. Collecting over 200 gently used stuffed animals, she handed them out at a group home in Portsmouth, Rhode Island, to children who experience abuse and domestic violence. One girl who had no stuffed animal to comfort her, living in this transitional housing, announced, "I hope you come back. Stuffed animals are my favorite." The young girl's heart was made better because Vanessa chose something from her heart. To make a civilization work, it takes people like Kyra McCormick, who knew that each family's history is part of our nation's history. Her family always preserved Civil War letters documenting the years of service of a family member, Edwin Messer. But beyond her family, these letters were not overly shared until Kyra took initiative to make a webpage to share 90-plus letters. And she also decided to share them with the Illinois Historical Society and the Abraham Lincoln Library, fellow researchers to study our history. Our nation's story has been enhanced by Kyra choosing to show these letters. Kira. And what about Thomas Toscano? He built a hydrogen cell. I remain in awe that a high schooler was able to turn water into energy. Its brain, power, research, problem solving, and critical skills makes a civilization work. And then there's Kerry Tiedeman's work that had global perspective by connecting an organization that provides professional attire to female Afghan refugees. She enlightened our community about the global issues Afghan women face through a panel discussion at the Westerly Public Library, while bringing attention to the need to support their success here in the United States through job training. The lives of refugees living in Rhode Island have been improved because Kerry chose to share their story and spread awareness. 4 senior projects whose hard work are examples of what it takes to make a civilization. My father once told me that work smarter, not harder. You may have heard that phrase before. What does it really mean? For him, it was, when you're using a hammer, let the weight of the hammer do the work instead of your arm and shoulder. Use the right tool for the job. When something's heavy, ask someone to lift the other end. Sometimes telling people to work smarter, not harder, we devalue hard work itself. Hard work does not mean that you must work in a coal mine or commercial lumbering, being a pig farmer, or deep ocean fishing for Alaskan king crab. It can be work as a cancer researcher, an economist, a teacher, or an engineer, firefighter, simply someone who commits to excellence. According to Forbes magazine, employers want a great deal from you, graduates. They want you to come to work on time, and being on time is being early. Employers want you to do research and communicate critical thinking and problem solving. Employers want you to reflect upon your work when it's finished and decide how it could have been improved. Employers want you to have a skill, master it, and then work your butt off to meet the goals of that organization. Employers want someone who can demonstrate the PPGRs, be innovative, have a strong work habits, and be a member of a team, collaborate and support on the task at hand. And for the seniors who questioned our work habits, what do you think now? Here at the high school, we designed your experience in such a way to emulate the proficiencies desired of those after high school. Each of you has demonstrated your ability to do school. The next stage will be for you to be able to apply what you've learned in diverse settings. So with the help of Mike Rowe of Dirty Jobs, I've created a one-page treatise on what works regardless of the career field or setting. I believe that I'm entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Nothing more. I also understand that happiness and the pursuit of happiness are not the same thing. I believe there is no such thing as a bad job. I believe that all jobs are opportunities, and it's up to me to make the best of them. I do not follow my passion. I bring it with me. I believe that any job can be done with passion and enthusiasm. I believe the most annoying sound in the world is whining and complaining. I will never make them. If I'm unhappy at my work, I'll find a new job or find a way to be happy. I believe that my education is my responsibility, and I will develop a skill. I am resolved to learn as much as I can from whatever source is available to me. I will never stop learning. I believe that I'm a product of my choices, not my circumstance. I will never blame anyone for my shortcomings or the challenges that I may face. And I will never accept credit for something I didn't do. I understand that the world's not fair, and I'm okay with that. And I believe that all people are created equal. I also believe that all people make choices. Some choose to be lazy. Some choose to sleep in. I choose to work my butt off. There you have it, high school compressed. And thus my last message to you, as you have done here, continue to develop your skill, for we each contribute to the success of a civilization. And remember, the work habits rubric that we introduce you to, it exists for real. Congratulations, and I will remind you one last time, as Emma did this year, be excellent to each other. At this time, coming to the podium, our class salutatorian, Alexander Murado, who will be attending Colby College in the fall.
Administrators, teachers, distinguished guests, parents, relatives, and students, greetings and welcome. It's truly an honor to give this salutatory address, and I feel privileged and humbled to be a part of this wonderful class of students, the class of 2015. I believe that all students who worked hard and gave it their all, no matter what grades they ended up getting, deserve our utmost praise and recognition here tonight. You know, unlike many of my classmates, I did not attend Westerly Middle School. I attended St. Pius X School. My 8th grade graduating class had a grand total of 15 students, so the high school was a bit daunting to me at first. My classmates were very welcoming though, and I've made some great friends over the past 4 years. Unfortunately, there are still many of my classmates whom I never had the pleasure of meeting. In fact, when my name was announced at graduation practice a few days ago, one of my friends overheard the student sitting next to him say, "Who's that?" When I stood up, the student said, "Oh, him? I thought that kid was a junior." I was actually happy to hear that, because most people think I'm quite old. I'm a bit traditional, so my friends nicknamed me the old man early on. My English teacher from this past year, Miss Barnhart, more diplomatically says that I am wise and have an old soul. Honestly, I think I just look old. Last year, one of the teachers mistook me in my own classroom for a student teacher. And several times this year, when at restaurants, the waitress has asked me whether I'd prefer to see the wine list or the beer list. Being an old soul, I usually say, the wine list will be fine. But all kidding aside, graduation, or commencement, is a time for us to take one look back before we move on. It's a chance to stand still on the threshold and freeze time for just a moment. And what I'd like to do in this small space of time is express gratitude, both personally and on behalf of the entire class of 2015. First, to our teachers. Westerly High School has some wonderful teachers, and what makes them stand out is the personal interest that they take in their students. I'd like to use Mr. Layton, who is now retired, as an example. I had never studied French before high school and didn't know what to expect freshman year. But Mr. Layton was an amazing teacher. He sparked my interest in the subject, an interest that continues today. It was his teaching style and his brilliant mind, but also the personal interest he took in his students outside of class. He's the kind of teacher you remember years later. And that's the way it's going to be with a lot of my teachers. They imparted a great deal of knowledge. They educated me. But they also took an interest in me outside of class as a person, not simply as a student. I will remember their personalities and their kindness. English teachers, math teachers, history, business, science, you name it. I don't want to mention names of current teachers because I don't want to inadvertently exclude anyone. And I'm sure my classmates have learned from other teachers whom I've never had, who also deserve appreciation, recognition, and gratitude. So on behalf of the entire class of 2015, thank you to our teachers, administrators, and staff for being such an important part of our lives. Next, I want to express gratitude to our parents, guardians, and caregivers, our family members. Our parents are our first teachers and our most influential ones. They taught us how to hold a spoon, how to walk, how to say our ABCs, how to read Dr. Seuss books, how to swing a bat and throw a ball, how to draw, how to drive a car, and most importantly, how to be ourselves. They've sheltered us, cheered us on, dried our tears, and passed down culture and tradition. Mere words can never be enough to express the gratitude and love that we feel towards our parents. Finally, thank you to our classmates, the people who made this school a welcoming and interesting place each day, the people we've come to call our friends. Before I conclude and pass the baton, I'm going to take full advantage of my soapbox and recognize two friends. I was fortunate enough to be named salutatorian, but there were two students in particular who have been hot on my heels for this spot all year. Tom Toscano and Michelle Hansen. To help you visualize the race for number 2, I was the old guy who drives really slowly and causes a traffic jam. I didn't let anyone pass me, but these two were riding my bumper and beeping at me the whole time. Even though only one of us gets to be called salutatorian, I want you both to know how much I respect and admire you, and how much I wish you could stand up here with me as well. To the class of 2015, always keep your eyes focused on the road ahead of you, and never forget to say thank you to the people who've helped you along the way. Good luck, and congratulations to all of you.
At this time, we'll now hear a selection from the band, so members of the senior class, please join the band. Class of 2015, I have the honor to have this opportunity to introduce your keynote speaker, whose career in education and serving this community spans more than 40 years, serving as a teacher, a coach, school administrator, retiring in 2003, and as a member of the school committee from 2004 in the capacity both his tenure as chairman and as vice chair. Mr. Morano earned a bachelor's degree in 1972 from the University of Rhode Island after graduating from Westerly High School in 1968, and earned a master's degree in school administration from Rhode Island College in 1993. During his tenure here, he served as head football coach from 1979 to 1991, taking our teams to 3 Super Bowl championships, winning 2 of them. Mr. Morano has been inducted into the Rhode Island Football Coaches Hall of Fame, the Providence Gridiron Hall of Fame, and the Westerly High School Hall of Fame, and currently serves as the Hall of Fame Committee chairperson. Since retiring in 2003, Mr. Morano has been called upon to serve as principal and interim principal in 6 communities: Fall River, Massachusetts, Coventry, Johnston, Bristol Warren, Cranston, and Newport. Testimony to their confidence in his talents. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2015, I give you 1968 graduate principal, Mr. Morano.
Thank you, Mr. Rosito, for that wonderful introduction. As Yogi Berra once said in one of his many yogiisms, that was such a great introduction, I can't wait to hear myself speak. Think about that one for a second. And now, for those of you out there that are doing the math, saying, this guy graduated in 1968, and he has a daughter graduating tonight, well, I want you to know I was 6 years old when I graduated from high school. So how about this beautiful evening? This is spectacular. It is only fitting that the weather would cooperate so we could have the graduation outdoors and all of you could attend to honor the outstanding class of 2015. Let's not take it for granted. How about a nice round of applause for all the school department and public works employees who work so hard to make this such a special setting. I would like to welcome Westerly Public Schools administration, faculty and staff, the Westerly School Committee, members of the Town Council, our Town Manager, the class of 1965, parents, family members, and friends of tonight's seniors, and most importantly, you, the class of 2015. It is an honor and a very special privilege to have been selected as the commencement speaker for tonight's graduation ceremony, and to be able to speak about 2 of my favorite topics, Westerly High School and the class of 2015. It was exactly 50 years ago that I was preparing to enter Westerly High School as a 10th grade student, not knowing at the time that I would spend the better part of my life there for the next 38 years. Back then, you didn't start high school until the 10th grade. As a 10th grader, there were many people in the class of 1965 that I knew and looked up to. It is so nice to see some of you here this evening. That beautiful brick building on the top of the hill has been like a second home to me ever since that day 50 years ago. And I carry with me many fond memories and relationships from Westerly High School that I will cherish for the rest of my life, including several with the graduates of both the classes of 1965 and 2015. Tonight, I promise you I will keep my remarks brief, knowing full well that is what you want me to do. But regardless of what I say in my speech, I know you most likely will not remember a word of it 10 minutes after I sit down. My speech will be less than 12 minutes, and I know that that's probably about 11 minutes longer than you were hoping for. But to ensure that I keep my word, I have brought along with me a kitchen timer. Give me just a second. There we go. I will set it for 12 minutes now, and I guarantee I will finish before it goes off. For those of you who want to take a nap or happen to fall asleep during my talk, you can use it as an alarm clock to wake up when I'm done. In describing a perfect day, Coach Jim Valvano said in his famous ESPY speech just before he passed away from cancer, that it's a heck of a day if you can laugh, think, and cry. The same can be said for a speech. I hope my speech tonight will be able to touch you in at least one of those three ways. Needless to say, the class of 2015 has been a part of some interesting developments over the past 4 years, a few of which I would like to speak about, some in jest and some in all seriousness. First, the decision by the school committee and the school administration to extend the Memorial Day weekend to 4 days for seniors this year, I think was an excellent one. I'm sure the seniors will understand what I am referring to, but others of you may not. So let me take a minute to explain. On Tuesday, May 27th, the day after Memorial Day, I was doing some errands around town. I went to the bank, the grocery store, the cleaners, and the gas station. At each of these places, I ran into a member of tonight's senior class. I was a bit confused, seeing all the seniors that were out of school that day. Later that day, as luck would have it, I happened to run into Jack Patton. Who better to ask what was going on than Jack? Jack, senior class president, he knows everything about the senior class. In addition, his father's the chairman of the school committee, so he knows a little bit about what's going on with the school committee too. So I said to him, Jack, did the seniors have school today? Well, he turned white and he looked at me and he hesitated a little bit and he said, oh, Mr. Morano, you know that in 2 days we have our senior project presentations. I said, yes, I know that. He said, and wasn't there a meeting in April when you were away that you missed a school committee meeting? I said, yes. And he says, well, I'm pretty sure that at that school committee meeting that night, the school committee voted to extend the Memorial Day vacation to 4 days for the seniors so that we could work on our senior projects. I said, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Now feeling very confident, Jack says to me, and you know what, Mr. Moreno, the senior project's presentations worked out so well, I think you guys should probably consider doing it again next year. So good job, Jack. Good job, seniors. You pulled it off on May 27th. Congratulations. And now, for those seniors who submitted a letter to Mr. Aceto and Dr. Seisinger requesting to opt out from listening to my speech. Your request obviously has been denied. The reason is that we need as many seniors as possible paying attention and participating in tonight's graduation to make up for all that lost time on May 27th. Next, I have an announcement. Any senior tonight who is attending the all-night graduation party but still owes more